All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into some, I don't know what you call it, not really MLB current events. I guess not really a current event. It's just something that grinds my gears. And then we'll get into some LPDS universe life updates. So that should be fun for everybody. And of course, we have a nice little cage fact for you. So all that's coming up right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. A show that talks about nothing and tries to find the lessons and everything. We have a good time doing it. I have a good time doing it. If you do too as well, call the hotline. Let me know, 202-670-1114. Or don't call the hotline. Do that too. That's been going on a lot lately, and that's okay as well. But if you're inclined to do so, 202-670-1114 is the hotline number. Hope everybody had a good week. Mine was pretty good, interesting to say the least. I guess you could say most of the week was same old, same old. A lot of diving into the spearhead, the SL stuff, hitting the gym, doing all the regular stuff that I do each and every week. And then we'll get into the rest at the Junction. Before we get into the good stuff, though, well, real quick, happy St. Patty's Day. That was past. I did not talk about it in the last episode, maybe because I forgot, because I record before the week of posting. So episode week, the stuff is recorded prior to the week's happenings. So St. Patrick's Day fell after the recording, and I just forgot to mention it to kind of talk into the future about it. But hope everybody had a good St. Patrick's Day if you celebrate it. I don't do anything for it. What used to do, my grandmother, Big Margaret, may she rest in power, loved St. Patrick's Day, and then the Italians love St. Joseph's Day the next day. I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to get a lot of heat from family members if they listen to this, or just Italians in general, Italian Americans in general. I don't even know exactly what St. Joseph Day is all about. I know that's just something I always thought that the Italians would do. Sorry about that, folks. Had a phone call I had to take. Family phone call. No, nothing's wrong. Just family call. Got to answer the phone. I used my phone as a camera. Had to take a quick tech pause, and now we're back in action. Don't remember what I was talking about. That phone call was about 20 minutes long. Now I know in the LPDS time space continuum, this is an instant pause, so there's no time passed in the episode. But I don't remember what I talked about 20 minutes ago. It was it was about St. Patrick's Day, right? All I can remember is we were talking about my grandmother, Big Margaret, loved St. Patrick's Day. She used to make corned beef and cabbage and soda bread and stuff, and we used to enjoy it there. Oh, I remember now, the St. Joseph's Day stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to catch a lot of heat because growing up, my grandparents always mentioned St. Joseph's Day was after St. Patrick's Day. And I know the Italian Americans in the Northeast, at least, always made a big deal about it, almost like they were competing against the Irish in St. Patrick's Day. Like, don't forget St. Joseph's Day is this week too. Don't forget St. Joseph's Day. And nobody ever taught you what St. Joseph's Day was. I don't even remember. You didn't learn it in CCD. If you're a Catholic and went to Sunday school to CCD, I don't even know what that stands for. I don't remember learning it there. Maybe my grandparents mentioned it, what it was about back in the day. I don't remember, though. We didn't do anything in particular to celebrate it. I just know that the hardos in the Italian American community always made a big stink about it. It was like a pissing contest with the Irish to make sure that you remember St. Joseph's Day is just as big and important as St. Patrick's Day. Unfortunately, for those hardos out there, it's not. In America, people like St. Patrick's Day more. It's an excuse for the young folks and the alcoholics to go out and drink and kiss each other and do necking and wear green and do all that stuff and put food coloring in their beers and stuff like that. So it's always going to be bigger. Unless St. Joseph finds a way to mix in booze into the celebration and makes that the focal point of the holiday, it's not going to happen. Same thing with Cinco de Mayo. We celebrate Cinco de Mayo in America for no other reason than it's an excuse to go out and crush pitchers of margaritas. And I'm here for it. I love a good Marg Daddy. I'm not mad about it at all. I'm not mad about St. Patrick's Day. But you can't get pissed that it's a more popular holiday nationwide than St. Joseph's Day. Tell me what St. Joseph's Day is. Tell me what it's celebrated for. Tell me what you do to celebrate it. What are the traditions to celebrate it? I'm here for it. Call it in on the hotline if you know. Put a comment in the YouTube or the Apple or Spotify if you have the answer to that. I'd love to learn about it. Not enough to go Google it myself, but I'm curious. I'll have the conversation. But don't get pissed that it's not as big and popular. I don't need to get it forced down my throat from the Italian American community, of which I'm a part of. I am an American, born in America, of Italian roots. So I'm not discriminating against my own kind, but I'm going to call the bullshit when I believe that there's bullshit afoot. And I believe that there is bullshit afoot with this. And I think most people would agree with me there, except for the hardo Italian Americans. And that's fine. We're allowed to disagree with each other. Anyway, St. Patrick's Day was last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever you're listening to this. And like I said, I didn't do anything, but Big Margaret loves St. Patrick's Day. She used to make a mean corned beef and cabbage. Now my mother makes it every year, and she'll actually save some. She'll put some in the freezer for me, at least the corned beef side. Not so much the cabbage, which I'm not mad about. Look, here's the thing with cabbage, folks. It's not bad. I eat my vegetables. I don't have a problem with it. I will never, at least while I'm single and living alone, maybe if I have a family and my wife and her family are big on St. Patrick's Day or cabbage in general, I'll buy cabbage and make it for a meal one time, incorporate it into a meal. But while I'm by my lonesome, when it's just me and Randy, lone wolves here in the LPDS compound, there is zero chance I have any inclination whatsoever, any hankering, any desire, any, what's the term I'm looking for? I'm really jonesing for, I don't know. I don't know the term I'm looking for, but you get my point. Never for cabbage. I'm never going to go to the store and be like, oh, let me make some cabbage today. Now, my father, JPL3, would have a problem with that because he's big on cabbage. I don't remember if I talked about it, but when I was back in Jersey for the holidays in winter, he made the pot of cabbage soup. It was like a 3-gallon pot of cabbage soup, which is basically created. Cabbage soup was basically created out of poverty and starvation and hunger. And because they couldn't just keep eating raw cabbage, they put it in a broth and heated it up, basically. That's the gist of cabbage soup. You don't see in history, you can find, I would love for someone to find me in history or now, the royal class or the richies now, anybody rich or wealthy or powerful from now till the beginning of time who ate cabbage soup as an entire entree. That was their meal. I challenge anyone to find me that. And I'll admit if I'm wrong. If that was a big, delicacy back in the day, maybe. I highly doubt it, though. I highly doubt it. It's just hot, wet leaves. That's it. And that's what cabbage is in the corned beef and cabbage. Hot, wet leaves to complement your corned beef. And it's not bad. Like, my mother makes it well. My grandmother made it well. My dad made a pretty damn good cabbage soup, but never in my life, in my existence, have I ever had a hankering for anything cabbage. Never. So I could do without the cabbage part of the corned beef and cabbage bit. I'll go corned beef, and if you have a nice homemade soda bread that's not dry and crumbly like a scone, I'll do a scone. Let's not get this confused here, folks, either. I'll do a scone. I like a good scone. Yeah, they're dry and crumbly and dusty seeming almost, but those are dunkers. Scones are for dunking, especially on a warm coffee, because then it sops up the warm, delicious coffee into the scone, and that's when it turns the scone into a different experience. You know how when people who like scotch will go scotch on the rocks or with a little soda, a little club soda? It's because it changes the flavor of the scotch a little bit. It's not to dilute it because they can't handle straight scotch. It's because it creates a different experience altogether in your palate, which I also enjoy on the scotch side. I'll go straight for sure. If it's a good scotch or even a good bourbon, I'll go neat. But I like to throw a little club soda in there or a nice piece of ice, because the ice will slowly melt into it and it'll start to change the flavor as you go through the glass. It's nice. It's refreshing. That's what happens to scones when you dunk them. Straight up scone, I can't eat a straight up scone. I need something to dunk it in. Not like scotch. I can drink scotch neat. Scone has to be with coffee or milk, preferably coffee. Those are dunked. You have to dunk a scone. Those are dunkers. It's almost mandatory. It's almost a requirement. But soda bread, if you make a good homemade loaf, you don't need to dunk it or put butter on it. I'll put butter on it either way. But I like a good piece of soda bread. Maybe I'll toast it just a little bit just to get it a little crisp and warm so the butter just melts right into it. It's really nice. Or you can make a little corned beef sandwich with the soda bread. That's also very nice. So anyway, I'm sure most of you celebrated. If you did celebrate St. Patrick's Day, you celebrated it in the standard, more popular fashion of dressing in green and going out to a bar somewhere and drinking something green and trying to perv on women or something. And I hope you enjoyed yourself. That's a fun time too. So anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day. Anyway, before we get into the good stuff, I have to complain because that's what I like to do. This is my chance to complain. I don't complain very much anywhere else. Maybe to the creature when we're hitting sticks, we'll just talk about stuff, but I try to keep the complaining to myself and seek out solutions as opposed to just sitting there bitching and whining about stuff. This is my outlet to vent a little bit to you guys and to get it out there, and then I'm done with it. As you know, baseball season is upon us. I actually think they had the first official game, the Dodgers versus the Cubs in Japan. I missed it because I don't care about either of those teams particularly, so I don't know what happened with it. But the opening day is coming very soon. And as usual, the current MLB, the recent MLB, I'll say, over the past couple of years, I don't know if it's from the commissioner Manfred mandating this or pushing for this, or they have a new director of PR and marketing and branding or whatever. But the past several years, they've been in the beginning of the season. specifically. They've been force-feeding drama down our throats, forcing fake dramatic scenes. I don't know if that's their marketing ploy to get people like hyped up for baseball or to get more people back interested in baseball again. I don't know what it is, but it has to stop. It has to stop. Baseball has plenty of actual drama and excitement that you can. There's 30 plus teams, and each team plays 162 games in the regular season alone. If you go and look at clips of playoff Soto and playoff Stanton from last year, you can make enough dramatic clips for the entire league just off of that alone for a whole season's worth. And I've watched all of them. Playoff Stan, I still can't get enough of Playoff Stan. It was just something special, and it was wasted on a fake good team, a fugazi good team. But you don't have to. What I'm saying is, you don't have to create the drama. It's gonna come. There's always gonna be an extra inning, back and forth, a duke it out style game. There's always going to be the no-hitters, the perfect games, the game-winning grand slams, the fights. New players rookies coming out of the woodwork with their inspiring stories. You don't need to force feed it down our throats before the season even starts. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at the MLB Instagram page, and you'll see all these videos that they have. Every spring, every preseason they do this, every spring training. This year I saw on the Orioles a pitcher. Is it Zach Eflin? Is his first name Zach? Or am I mixing up Eflin and Efros or whatever? But Eflin. Pitcher. Good pitcher. Solid guy. I have no issues with the guy. In fact, I feel bad for him and his family in this regard. But he's a pitcher for the Orioles. Okay? The video that they showed was they asked him, this is what they always do. They ask you to come into the manager's office. And there's already cameras set up. So you know either the player knows something is happening at that moment, or this is a reenactment and it already happened. Because a lot of them are definitely reenactments. This one was definitely a reenactment based on their reactions and the fact that they're not actors, so they can't sell it. But they call them in. They got cameras everywhere. They're not hidden cameras. You could tell they're not hidden behind anything or nothing. Comes in and they're like, "Oh, you had a good spring training, a good preseason. We like what you're doing. Somebody else has a message for you." And they hand him this fucking iPad. Sorry, T, family show. And it's his family on FaceTime or a Zoom call. Not Skype, because that's gone. And it's his wife and his 3 or 4 kids or whatever. And they get on the phone, they get on the FaceTime, and his wife tells him, "Oh, I just want to let you know that we love you and miss you so bad. And to congratulate you, you're going to be the starter on opening day at Camden Yards for the Orioles." And then they did the whole fake, "Oh, I'm so happy. I miss you guys so much. This is such great news, blah, blah, blah." And they had the music in the background. They hugged and this and that and whatever. And then there was some bullshit caption about, "How can you not be romantic about baseball?" That's not romantic about baseball. I'm sorry. Okay? First of all, it was reenacted. You could tell they already did it. He already knew he was going to be the starter for the game. Second of all, they roped his family into it for no real reason. He was in Florida for 2 months. Okay? This guy, again, nothing against him in particular. I know he was just told he had to do this. But this guy gets paid literally millions of dollars to pitch for the Orioles. His job is the contract says, you pitch and we pay you. And they're making a big stink about basically somebody telling him, hey, when the season starts, you're going to be doing your job on the day one of the season. You know, the job that you sign the contract that you're going to get paid a lot of money to do? Yeah, you're going to have to do it on day one, just to let you know. Congratulations, you get to do your job. In case you didn't know, that's how it works here in jobs land. You get paid to do a job, and this is when the job starts. This is the day the job starts. What a big fucking deal that is. And then they make this whole thing about like, oh, he hasn't seen his family in 2 months, his wife and 3 or 4 kids. It's so sad and tough for them and blah, blah, blah. I get it. It's all fugazi, okay? I don't know where his family currently lives. I imagine it's probably in the Maryland, Virginia area, if I were to venture a guess, since he's on Baltimore, on the Orioles. But this guy was not at war. And I think he would tell you the same thing. Like I said, I have nothing against him or any of the players who got to do this crap. I don't think there's any player that goes up to their manager and then the commissioner of baseball and says, hey, listen, I really want to do one of these videos. I really want to get people to think that I'm this dramatic, family type of guy. They don't want to do any of this crap. So I have nothing against Eflin. I keep forgetting. Every time I see his name on the jersey, I can't remember if it's almost like a dyslexia of sorts, but I don't have dyslexia. I can't remember if it's ELF or EFLIN. Anyway, nothing against this guy. But he's down in spring training for 2 months. He's not in Afghanistan or Iraq or fighting in Nazi Germany back in World War II, where he can only write to his family and hope that the mail gets to his family so that they know he's okay. He's down in Florida. He's a flight away. And he gets paid millions of dollars. If his family if they miss each other that much, he could have got them on a private plane down there in a matter of hours, and it wouldn't have even made a dent in his bank account. There is no need to have this whole pomp and circumstance bullshit little video thing where he's been away from his family for so long and they miss. Of course, his family misses him. When you go away for a couple months, your kids are going to miss you. Yeah. Stop playing that to the crowd. Like, stop taking advantage of that for bullshit views and a marketing ploy. I don't think his family wanted to be paraded out there like that on camera. Maybe the kids did because they don't know any better. They don't see it as that. They just see it as a chance like, oh, we're going to be on TV. That's awesome. If I was a kid, that's how I would be anyway. But I know you could tell in the tone of voice from his wife and him, it was like blink twice if you're in distress. That's what it felt like. And I felt bad for them that they had to be subject to this malarkey for views and clicks and likes. It was bullshit. And they do it all spring training. They did it with Volpe last year or 2 years ago when they're like, just to let you know, you're the starting shortstop on the team. Congratulations. Stop it. We don't care about that. Some people probably do. But guess what? Those people that care about that stupid stuff already love baseball. You already have that. You're not bringing in any new fans by doing this crap, especially in the internet age and the video dramatics age and the influencer age, when that's an old shtick. If this was like the early 2000s or like 2010 time frame, 10, 12, 10, 11, 12, 13, that time frame, maybe you could get away with it a little more because the YouTube stars, the influencers on Instagram, all that stuff wasn't as popular then. But now it's a tired shtick. Everybody knows when people are doing something for clout. And you can't get away from it. You can't act your way out of it. You can't fake it. You can't get away with it. Everybody knows when it's clout chasing. And that's exactly what they're doing, is clout chasing at the expense of the players and their families. It's just annoying. Stop. If you really cared about the family, fly the family down to Florida to see their husband and father pitching and getting ready for the season. But you don't. You don't. You care about the clicks and the views, and you think this is going to bring a new kind of wave of fandom back to baseball, and it's not. It's just not. We have to be better. Okay? You could be cheesy and corny with stuff, but don't be clout chasing at the expense of the players and their families. It's annoying. It's more annoying than the mid-inning or the between-inning interviews that they make the coaches and players do in the middle of games now. And we all know nobody likes to do those. The players and the coaches don't want to do that mid-game. If they have any ounce of competitive nature inside their beings, they don't want anything to do with that bullshit. They do it with football too. Probably basketball too. I don't watch basketball anymore, NBA. But people just don't care about that. We don't want to see that. We want to see the manager focusing on managing his or her team. And we want to see the players focusing on the damn game that we paid to watch. So cut the shit already. Tired of it. Absolutely tired. And you know what the Yankees are going to do? Because the individual teams do it too. It's not just the MLB in general. It's the individual teams that also are part of it. The front office, because they're all in cahoots with the MLB, obviously. So the Yankees are going to try to do this because they have to have a bunch of scrubs playing this year because their only good players besides Judge are already hurt before the season started. And they don't have a bunch of stars as it is. They got Garrett Cole. They got Judge. That's all, folks. They got playoff Stan, who has to be in the playoffs to become playoff Stan. So he's of no factor. He's hurt, but he's no factor right now. He is not considered a star in the eyes of anybody until the playoffs. And that's all they got. They've been shoving poor Volpe down people's throats like he's the next Derek Jeter. Again, I feel bad for him. That poor bastard is not even close to Derek Jeter. And he should have never been compared to Jeter. That's too much pressure for the kid. Let him just be an average, slightly below average to average ball player and leave the poor guy alone. And I don't know who else. Who else you got? So they're going to start wheeling out these no-names and start creating these dramatic stories. Oh, Ben Rice last year. Oh, Ben Rice has always been a Yankee fan, and he always wanted to play for the Yankees, and now his parents got to see him play for the Yankees. Nope. Sorry, Ben. Nobody cares about that story. All people care about is that you do your job as well as you can. And pick up the slack for whoever you're replacing at the time. So we're just going to see a bunch of these scrub stories of guys making their dreams come true. And guess what? Except for maybe Anthony Rendon, except for maybe him, every baseball player in the major leagues right now, it was their dream to play baseball growing up. Okay? The story is not unique and dramatic anymore. It's because it's everybody in your industry, except for Anthony Rendon. That's all their dreams. Everybody's dream, if you played baseball as a kid, was to be in the major leagues, and you want to be I want to be like Derek Jeter. I want to be like Mark McGwire, Ken Griffey, Jose Canseco, whoever, Mickey Mantle, whoever it was, every young boy had that dream growing up. So you can literally make that bullshit dramatic story about, oh, his dreams are finally coming true for every single damn player in the league. And I honestly believe that that's what the MLB is trying to do. They're trying to do that. They're trying to have these little sound bites and clips for every player now, thinking that's going to work. And it's just not. So please, for the love of God, cut the bullshit out. You have enough problems to deal with in the league as it is that you have total control over to actually get asses in seats and people loving the game again, and you're choosing not to pay attention to. You're choosing to focus your energy on this bullshit. And I'm sorry, but it has to stop. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. Let me know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something I'm missing here on why it's cool to do this to the players and their families, to parade them out there like circus freaks. Maybe I'm missing something, and I'm open to the discussion. But if I'm not, then we got to cut the bullshit, please. Anyway, let's get into the good stuff. Finally, let's step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by the Hungry Helmet Stadium Food. Are you headed to the Yankee games this year, but are getting tired of eating only dirty water hot dogs as your meal because the stadium doesn't have any other good options? Well, worry no more, because Hal Steinbrenner has just made a big deal with Tony Riggs for the all-new Hungry Helmet Stadium Food menu. From ice cream to spaghetti to chicken parm to chicken noodle soup even. The family size options are endless when you order a Hungry Helmet meal. And not only will you get a gourmet looking meal at the games, but the serving bowl they come in is a commemorative Brett Gardner sized helmet that you can take home and use as a kiddie pool in the yard after the game. So to feed your family of 5 from one feed bowl while watching Mark Leiter Jr. give up a 4-run lead to the Rockies, just spend $1,200 on a ticket to the game and head on over to the Yankee Stadium to get your Hungry Helmet now. And if you use the promo code GARBAGEGRUEL, you'll get 29% off your first helmet meal. The big news for the Yankees this week. This is the big news of the Yankees this week. This is all I'm going to say before I get too heated about the Yankees. The big news, when their players are dropping left and right, they have still no third baseman. They have no batting except for Judge. They have no playoff stand. They have basically nothing but Judge and maybe Max Fried. We'll see if he is good. And that closer from Milwaukee, we'll see if he actually does good for the Yankees. We don't know yet. Their big news for the fans is they're rolling out tiramisu in a commemorative helmet bowl at Yankee Stadium. Probably going to be $30 or $40 for this small helmet of most likely garbage tiramisu. Now, I'm a big tiramisu fan. I love this stuff. But what the hell are we doing, Yankee Stadium? Yankees in general. What the hell are we doing? It's bad enough you expect the fans to sit in hours of traffic to get to the stadium where there's no parking, spend at least $100 on a ticket each, unless you find the cheap seats in the bleachers on like Game Time app or something like that. And then you got to pay. Everything is double digits. There's not a single digit item on the menu except for maybe water. It's probably like $6 for a bottle of water. And now you're trying to offer tiramisu. The Yankee fans are poor. I don't know who you think the fans of the Yankees are. The majority of the fans, the diehards, you're putting them out of you're putting them out of their homes. They can't put food on their table because they took their family of four to one Yankee game. And now you're adding this, like this is good. This is the selling point to get more people in the stands. A $24 bowl of stadium tiramisu. What the hell are you thinking? The problem is there's enough stupid Yankee fans out there that are going to buy that shit and then wonder why they can't pay off their rent the next month. Because they just bought 4 helmets worth of tiramisu and now they don't have the gas to get home to their houses. And it just goes right back to the whole Cashman and Hal only care about profits. They don't care about winning a World Series. If they did, they would have got better players. They don't give a shit. Anyway, get your hungry helmet meal. That's all I got to say about that. The Cage fact. Man, oh man, are they stupid sometimes. I can't believe that these guys they own a baseball team and they're a GM of a baseball team. And they do such stupid stuff. They care about the stupidest stuff. Anyway, the Cage fact. They've been filming Spider-Man Noir, the live-action show that Nic Cage is starring in as Spider-Man Noir. Now, there are rumors going around that the actual show itself is going to be in black and white. Now, it's a noir motif, if you will, theme, like the old-timey noir detective movies, like Humphrey Bogart, Maltese Falcon, stuff like that, Dick Tracy, all that good stuff. Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But some of the actors on the set have said we're filming in both black and white and color. Now, we don't know what they're going to put out there, but they have screens up around the set when they're filming so that the actors can see what it looks like. So when they get directions, they can look on the big screen behind the cameras and be like, oh, okay, they want me to go this way, so they can see it. And they said all the screens that they look at are all black and white. So it's being filmed in both black and white and color. And I think they're going to make a game time decision in post-production on what looks better and what they're going to put out. So there's a chance that they actually do this super old school style and have the noir theme and motif of the whole show, the whole series, and the noir actual visual of the black and white. And I know a lot of people don't care about that. But I think that would be very cool. If they could pull it off well, I think that would be very cool to see black and white Spider-Man noir, the whole series like that. I think I like that old style noir type of film anyway. Now, obviously, they're not catering to the one fan of Nic Cage, obviously, but it would be cool to see, in my opinion. So, anyway, that's the Cage fact. That was a quick one. That's the Cage fact. You could be getting black and white Cage, which could be exciting. So, stay tuned for that. Anyway, keep this show on the road. Is that the saying? Yeah, keep the show going. I don't know. Okay, step into the junction, spin the logo up, step into the cage, move on over into the junction. I'm losing my marbles here. I tell you why. Because those damn Yankees and those damn helmets are really pissing me off. But we're in the junction now, so good things are happening. As I mentioned before, I had a pretty standard week for the most part. But earlier on in the week, maybe Tuesday, Monday, I don't exactly remember what day it was, what morning it was, but we had a toilet incident, all right? Now, I'm gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you what my parents thought happened. Okay? I'm making breakfast in the morning. It's a work day. I'm making breakfast in the morning, and I start to hear what sounds like the washer machine flushing the water out of the machine through the little hose. How you doing? It's a pretty distinct sound. You know, like when you hear, you're like, oh, this is water being flushed out, being forced out of something. But I didn't have the washing machine on. I don't wash clothes in the morning like that. So I had to investigate. I had to pull my pan off my cast iron skillet off the stove so I didn't burn anything, and go check out what's going on. And as I'm walking towards the laundry room, I hear it coming from my bathroom. I was like, what the hell is going on? I walk into my bathroom in the master bedroom. And the way my bathroom is set up, when you walk through the door, if you're looking in YouTube land, you walk straight through the door and you have the two sinks and the mirror right in front of you. And then to the right that's where the rest of the bathroom goes down to the right, down, looks like a little corridor. But you have the stand-up shower, and then behind the shower at the end of the bathroom is the toilet. Okay? I turn to the right. I get into the doorway of the bathroom. I turn to the right, and my toilet is spouting out water like the old faithful geyser, spouting out the bowl of the toilet. Now, I have the lid down. I put the seat and lid down after I go to the bathroom. So it was spitting out the sides and the front in between the lid and the bowl. From the bowl, not the tank, not the top tank where you do upper deckers, from the bowl where you do normal dumpies. I was like, what is going on? And it's spraying all over the wall. Toilet water, spraying all over the wall. It smells like toilet water because that's what it is, obviously. Over the walls, the floor, there's water everywhere. Now I have to get towels just to get to the area because I don't want to step on the water with my inside sneakers, my inside shoes, and then walk around the house with toilet water on me. So I had a towel. I had a towel all the walking path in front of me to get to the toilet to see what the hell was going on. And I just slightly opened the lid to see what the hell, if there was something in there, like a snake or something. No snake. It was just water forcing out like a geyser, like Old Faithful, like a fountain. So I close the lid, and it's still spouting everywhere, and I try to go turn the water off. Now, I say I try. I got the water off, but A, it didn't work. It was still spouting whatever water was left in the bowl. And B, the knob for the water valve, the valve itself, not knob, the valve is behind the toilet. So I had to bend down and I just got blasted with toilet water all over me. Like I was being waterboarded by my own toilet just to get to the damn valve to turn it off, and it still didn't work. So I'm dripping with toilet water, like sewage toilet water, not clean drinking water. It was water that had piss and shit in it, and probably other stuff from the sewer. In my face, my beard, it's dripping all over. My clothes, have to set them on fire. Can't wear those clothes anymore. They're drenched in toilet water, in shit water. Beard, absolute mess. I almost had to light myself on fire. I almost went into a bonfire to burn my skin off just to sanitize myself so I could grow a new layer of skin that's clean at least. I'd look like a freak, but at least I'd feel clean. Finally, I just flushed the toilet. I didn't know what else to do. I just flushed the toilet, and the geyser stopped. And I had no idea what the hell was going on. So then I ran over to check the other toilet in the guest bathroom to see if that was doing it there. Nothing there. No sinks were doing it. No other water areas, showers, nothing. This is only happening in the master bathroom toilet. Well, now it's cleanup time. I simultaneously had to figure out what the hell was going on to see how to prevent it from happening again. Well, I'm calling my plumber. He's not answering. I'm looking up what is this on Google to see if anybody else knows. And I'm cleaning up. I'm toweling the water down. I'm getting it all cleaned up. I got the towels all over the ground to sop up the water on the floor. And I'm cleaning up the toilet itself. And then I'm showering and scalding hot shower, burning myself. Get out, clean up, get new clothes on. As soon as I get my clothes on, I go back to the kitchen to finish making breakfast. As soon as I get back there, I hear it again. And I run back. I immediately flush the toilet. We're talking maybe 5 seconds. I had a good pop time. From kitchen to bathroom, I'd say 5 seconds. I was cutting corners. I still got it. It's not, I don't have the juice like I used to, the athletic ability like I used to. It takes me a little bit more time to warm up these days, but I took a scalding hot shower. The muscles were loose. I had the adrenaline pumping already from getting waterboarded by shit water. So I was kind of fast and loose and ready to rock and roll anyway. So I was there 5 seconds, no problem. Flush, it stopped. Minimal cleanup this time. I still had the towels on the floor. I just had to clean around the toilet, and that was actually clean toilet water. It wasn't sewage water coming up. Well, I still don't know what the hell happened. I read in a bunch of places that it could be because there was like some clogging and pressure buildup, that the pressure had to expel somewhere, and because it couldn't expel outside because of some sort of blockage, perhaps, it expelled forward through the toilet. But 99% of the things I read about that were saying people were having, the issue that they were having was their toilet was gurgling. The water in the bowl was like bubbling and gurgling, like it was just like someone was blowing a straw in the water. I finally got to some Reddit threads and some other pages through Google of people actually having geyser water spouts out of the bowl. And all of them said the same thing, that they found out eventually that their town was doing like a flush of the sewage. I think they call it jet setting their water lines. And that created the pressure to blow it out of people's toilets. Now, two things with that. One, if that's true, if that was the case, you got to tell people. You got to make that announcement if you're coming around people's streets and you're doing that stuff and you know this could happen to people's houses. And there was no evidence of that. I didn't see an email. I didn't get a letter. I didn't on their website. There was no information about this happening. And two, wouldn't you expect that to happen to all the toilets or water pipes, water outlets in the house? It just happened to my master bathroom toilet. That was it. So I can only, and my plumber never got back to me. I didn't call him again. I didn't bother him again. I didn't care that much about it because it stopped happening, and it hasn't happened since. And I still don't. I used the toilet today. I took a nice dumpy. I've been dropping dumpies all weekend there. No problems. No gurgling, anything. So to this day, I still don't know what the hell happened there. Maybe I'll call my plumber again just to ask him, like, hey, have you heard about this happening before? Do you how do I prevent this from happening in the future? I don't know. It's just it's an issue I don't have the time to deal with, and because it's not a current issue anymore, it's not happening currently actively. It's lower on my radar right now. I got more important things I'm focused on, I'm honed in on. If it was an electrical issue, different story. I'm not trying to burn the place down. Toilet stuff, whatever. I got plenty of towels. I'll figure that out until I can get a plumber over for real. But I texted my old man. I told my old man what happened. Told him the exact story, what's going on, who I talked to, where I found information, everything. He told my mother he happened to be going to the doctor's office that my mom works at for an appointment. And he told her, and probably the doctor too, that my toilet exploded this morning. He said that's exactly what he said to my mom. He said, your son's toilet exploded this morning. And then he left. He said, you better call him. His toilet exploded on him this morning. And that was the end of his appointment. After he paid or his premium or his copay or whatever, and he was out the door. I don't even know if he paid a copay. I just made that up. Maybe he got one maybe we got a freebie. So now my mom's texting me. She can't call because she's working, but she just texts me, are you okay? I heard about the explosion. Is somebody after you? I'll call you after work. Now, two things here that were interesting. One, somebody told my mother that enough information for her to think somebody might be after me. The intel she got was enough for her to make the assessment that somebody was after her son. And then she took the analytical leap because she heard toilet exploding. And this is from her. I'm not speculating here this anymore. She told me this is what she thought. She heard toilet exploding, and she goes, and I thought you were like Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon, where there was a bomb on your toilet, and if you got up, it was going to explode. And maybe your neighbor had to come help you, or the creature had to come help you defuse the bomb before it exploded while you were taking a dumpy. That's what she thought. So she got information from my old man. All he said was, you better call your son. His toilet exploded on him this morning. And she thought, bomb explosion, someone's after me. The second thing I thought was interesting was that does not cross her threshold of, this is a serious enough problem with my family that I have to actually call them. I have to stop working and call them. So somebody planting a bomb on my toilet and coming after me, wanting me dead, is not serious enough for the Libretti family to do anything more than a text letting them know, is someone after you? I'll call you when I get off work. Now, mind you, this happened to me in the morning. I got this text around 10 in the morning Central Time, so about 11 a.m. Eastern Time where my family lives. My mom doesn't get off work this day. It was a Tuesday. She was working. It's Tuesdays. That's when it happened, Tuesday. My mom doesn't get off work Tuesdays until sometimes 7 p.m. Those are her long days. And she'll call on the way home. So at 6:30 my time, 7:30 her time is when she called. So from 11 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. that entire day, my mom thought there was a reasonable enough amount of evidence to assess that there's a chance somebody is after my son and planted a bomb to kill him. And that did not warrant anything more than a text message and an I'll call you back after work kind of sentiment. Now, I don't know what I did to my parents. Maybe because I moved away and I haven't been really home since I was 18 years old. Maybe that was like the dagger to the heart of the Italian son and his family. Like you left the mother's nest, And you don't do that in the Italian American community, even the Italian community over, in the motherland. Unless you're married, you stay with your mother. You don't leave your mother like that. And even sometimes when you are married, you move the parents into the basement or something. You live next door to each other. Tight knit, tight knit. And I guess maybe that's what I did when I left the roost. That was now I am no longer part of the trust tree to where if I'm being hunted, that doesn't garner at least a phone call. I just thought that was funny. Now, in all reality, in all seriousness, if there was any real inclination of that, my father would have said, like my father would not have gone to his doctor's appointment. He would have ran up to the front desk when he got there and said, "Hey, we got to go. Somebody's hunting down our son. There was a bomb in his toilet." But he didn't. He went to his appointment, and then on his way out, he threw that information out. So in all seriousness, I believe my mom was just, making a reasonable assumption that it wasn't that bad. If my father didn't stop everything, he still went to his appointment and then he left like nothing, no big deal. So it must not be that big of a deal, and it wasn't. But I just thought it was funny that that information she got was toilet exploded on him, and she went all the way to the conclusion that somebody's after him. But it doesn't sound serious enough. This manhunt does not sound serious enough for me to make a phone call immediately. I'll let this play out and see how it goes, and then I'll call when I'm done with work. I got a lot of patience. I gotta see through, to the doctor. So I just thought it was funny. Everything is fine. Obviously, I explained it to her, and we all made fun of my old man for a little bit because when I told him that the toilet was just spitting water at me, he told my mom it exploded, and she thought it exploded like the porcelain crack, everything broke and whatever. But I thought that's it. I thought it was funny that you didn't die in the explosion, so because you answered my text, so it must not be that serious of a manhunt against you, of a bounty against you, that they didn't even wait. They didn't even spend the effort on a good bomb to take you out. You survived the explosion, so you're probably good until quitting time. And unfortunately, or fortunately, she was right. There's always that little like piece of the Italian American mind when it comes to like family and guilt trips and stuff you see on TV shows and movies all the time. There's always that little piece. You saw it in Everyone Loves Raymond all the time. That little piece where it's like you wanted something bad to happen so you can reverse guilt trip your own parents. Not in all seriousness, but just for the joke of it all, of like, hey, maybe you should have cared more, because that's the one of the running jokes of the Italian mother syndrome is the guilt, the Italian mother guilt. The IMG is a big thing in the outside world. Everybody talks about it. There's the Jewish mother guilt, the Italian mother guilt. I don't know if they have it in different cultures and races, but that's always. You always hear those jokes going around, especially from people who are not in those communities. Oh, you must get a lot of Italian mother guilt, the IMG. Sure, yeah, whatever. I don't really notice it that much. Maybe I do get a lot, but we're used to it. I don't want to dog on my mom too much in that regard. But when stuff like this happens, like there are instances where you definitely notice the Italian mother guilt. Got it. I know she doesn't mean it, but that's just the nature of the beast, of the stereotype. So there's always those little instances where it's like, oh man, this would be really great to reverse the guilt and do an ISG, the Italian son guilt, and a little Uno reverse card. Uno's an Italian game as well. play the Uno reverse card and you flip the guilt on her. Like, wouldn't it have been better for me if that was a real bomb and I did have a bounty on me from some contract killers or something? Now she would feel bad that she waited till after work to call me. And this whole time I was on the run with Randy trying to find my own killer. Without any contact from my mom. By the way, she didn't answer my text. She wrote, "Are you okay? What happened with the explosion? Is somebody after you? I'll call you after work." And I just wrote, "Excuse me?" Question mark? Like, what are you talking about? And she never answered that. She saw that and was like, this is an after work conversation. The whole thing is an after work conversation. So she knew I was alive and on the run. So it would have been nice if I made it out okay, but got to tell her, hey, just to let you know, there was a bomb and I was being hunted. And when I needed you, you weren't there until after quitting time. That would have been a nice little Italian son guilt Uno reverse. But alas, it was just a shitwater waterboarding session to start the day off. And I imagine that's what waterboarding is like in Afghanistan, because they don't have like a lot of clean drinking water. Like the indoor plumbing situation in Afghanistan was basically whatever base our military was occupying. That's the place that had running water. Clean running water anyway, clean-ish. Not totally clean. I wasn't drinking it. But I imagine waterboarding in Afghanistan, Iraq, it was going to be that kind of water. So now I'm even more prepared to be taken by the Taliban or ISIS because I already know what to expect. I got legit. It wasn't a couple spritzes. It was all the water in my face, drowning me. And it was not clear water. And if any ladies are listening to this, there's a good chance they never want to look at me or certainly touch me or kiss me ever again after hearing this. And I don't blame them either. I can only tell you that I did everything I could to clean and sanitize myself after the incident. And I know we've all been in dirty positions in our lives where we had to do a lot of sanitizing and cleaning. So before you start casting stones, he who is without sin can cast the first stone. He who or she even who has never been with shit or nastiness on their mouth or face cast the first stone. I think we'll even out there on that one. But that's it. That's all I got today, folks. My toilet exploded. The Yankees stink. The toilet shit water was not as stinky as the Yankees. Imagine that. I'd rather get waterboarded by my own toilet and own dumpies than have to deal with listening to Cashman tell us again how the team was a good team and we're happy with what we got right now. That's all I got today, folks. Before we go, very quickly, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being and spreading that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Do something every day to improve your fitness physically, mentally, or emotionally. Whether it's a full-on exercise or reading a book or taking on a new skill, do something to work on your physical, mental, or emotional fitness and health and well-being. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. Get out of the negativity. When the opportunity arises to be negative towards somebody or just in general initiate negativity or shittiness, take the LPDS step back, Detach from those negative emotions and omit yourself from the situation. Minimize the negativity and garbage going on in this world and allow yourself the capacity to go focus on more positive, productive things in your lives. Number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. Now, the easy way to do this and the most recommended way to do this is to just actively think of at least every day, at least one time, and increase it each and every day. But one time, think of at least one good thing in your life and think about what your life would be like without that thing and how shitty it might be. And that will put you in the state of gratitude. That's the easiest, the simplest way to do it and the most highly recommended way to do it. Now, the more effective way is not recommended, though. Okay, the more effective way is to get blasted in the face with shit water, drenched in it, drowned in it, and then be able to jump right into a shower of clean water, running clean indoor plumbing water, warm, hot water, clean with soap, immediately after to clean yourself off and sanitize yourself. That immediately put me in a state of gratitude because I could have been still continuing to think about the shit water that just drowned me, that was all up in my grill. But then I started thinking about, wow, if I was getting waterboarded by the Taliban or just in Afghanistan hanging out with the Taliban, this is the water that they deal with regularly. And there's no shower to clean off. That's the shower. That's the water. I just got the shower. So I was immediately grateful that I have that ability to go actually clean myself, sanitize myself. Now, if you do these 3 things at least once each and every day, and you focus on doing it, check those boxes. Just do it a little bit each and every day. Small incremental improvements each and every day. I promise you, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being. You'll be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Put the notifications on. Tell your friends and enemies. Hit that hotline, 202-670-1114. Somebody call the hotline. Make a joke. Ask a question. Do whatever you want on there. 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.